Hey, good evening, everybody. Yep, it's Wednesday night. Another episode of What He Said with Kevin Walker. Of course, I am Kevin Walker. So I'd like to welcome you to the What He Said with Kevin Walker podcast. Uh, I want to do some cleaning house first before I get started on this evening. I want to thank Anissa Perkins Jackson, Miss AJ over at Vibes Lounge. Like, man, we've got to, and we talk about it, but we really don't be about it. We've got to do a better job of getting out to support our own people, like for real, for real. Anissa's got a wonderful spot over there. Um, Very sweet girl, keeps her doors open to people for more than just parties. I had my mom's repast situation there. I've known other people to have other things there. I've seen comedy events there. But we got to go support Anissa. That's Miss AJ at Vibes Lounge on Cullen, Cullen on Cullen Boulevard. That's 12805 Vibes Lounge. 12805 Vibes Lounge. I've been out working in the yard, so I'm just trying to make sure. But yeah, let's support Miss AJ, and I want to thank her for her building on last Friday for the live show. So here's what we're gonna do, guys. Every last Friday of the month, we're gonna do a live show somewhere. Now, I can't promise you that it's always going to be at Anissa's spot because she has other obligations to people that want to throw parties and do other things there. But what I'd like to do, of course, because she doesn't charge us anything to come in there and do the podcast. But what I'd like to do is get to a point, honestly, to where we're enjoying this so much that we're willing to pay to get in that door to be there to just to chop it up all evening. I know people are in there pushing their businesses, and that's cool. That's why we want to be there. That's what we want to do it for. So, yeah, come out, man, have fun, enjoy yourself at the live shows. It's going to be the last Friday of every month. Stay tuned for the location. We have to kind of see what's coming up for Miss AJ. Hopefully, she'll be so booked she can't accommodate us, because y'all gonna answer to the call and y'all gonna go over and book your next event at Miss AJ's spot on Cullen. 12805 Cullen Boulevard. Miss AJ, I'd like to thank her. Thank my man Sean Eaglin for sitting in last Friday. Also thank my man T Money, Terry O'Neill, for sitting in as well. My girl Elisa Denise was there helping coordinate things. Cliff too, and Miss Penny Thompson, the boss lady, were in the building as well as look, we getting a nice little following that want to talk about some things with this podcast. We're gonna keep it grown and sexy. So what I've been asked to do from you guys is my next live show, I'll be the only one doing the live show, and we'll do audience participation, but I'll be the only one on the panel. Y'all will get to drill me. All right? Y'all will get to drill me at the next live show. That's the last Friday of this month in July. The last Friday of this month, we're going to have another live show. Stay tuned for the details and address on where we're going to be, because right now, we don't really know. We don't really know where we're going to be. So I was told by my show producer that I have to go back to last week and start with one of my topics from last week that I didn't truly really get to expound on. So we're going to start with, do we really like it from the back? Do we really like it from the back? So that's kind of what we didn't get to talk about on last week. Hold on. Yeah. So we're going to start there. Okay, we are ready to start the live show. Get off my screen. Get off my screen. don't know what's going on, guys. Hold on just a minute. Give me a minute. At any rate, there's something on my screen here. I don't know what's going on. Oh, it's gone. Okay. So let's start with, do we really like it from the back? So the concept of do we really like it from the back is simple. Do we truly hang in a circle of friends or hang in a circle of people? Because some people say they don't want to call them friends because everybody's not your friend, and that's true. But do we really hang in a circle of people that belittle us and talk down about us when our backs are turned? So do we really like it from the back? Because it seems that somehow we end up gravitating back to those people who have wronged us verbally. Now, here's what I think is the biggest crock of BS ever uttered. Here's what I think is the biggest crock of BS ever uttered. So you get somebody who you know for a fact and spoke ill of you, but for some reason, you want to keep that circle. You want to keep that friendship. Why? I'm clueless. Because if you backdoor me, if you backstab me, like, I'm done. But we want to keep that circle for some reason. So we keep that person around. And the biggest crock of BS that people always say, well, that's just Nicole being Nicole. Well, that's just such and such being such and such. Well, that's just Rodney being Rodney. No. You don't get to inject your BS into me. You don't get to do that and always think you should get a pass at the end of the day for talking down or belittling somebody. And people are acceptant when it's always the same somebody. Why do y'all let that person make it? So Marche says, oh, hell no. That's one thing I don't like. Exactly. And then here's the other side with the backstabbing that I'm always confused by, even when I did Little League. So when somebody would call me to talk to me about somebody else, I would say, hey, let's call B. Let's call Lou. Because I want them to say to me what you just said to me. If they said it, let's talk about it. Because I don't want to walk around mad at people for no reason. So let's talk about it. Let's discuss it. So the Bible in Matthew 18:15, I want to say, so when I come to you as my brother, not to check you, but to say, hey, man, look, this was being said. This is what someone said you said about me. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know why the stone being thrown at me. I'm clueless, but I'm just telling you what I got. I'm just telling you what they said to me. So the Bible says in Matthew, I want to say 18:15 says, if you take that information back to correct your brother and they receive it in the vein in which you're delivering it, then you have a friend. Consider that brother your friend. Now that's biblical. That if they receive what you're giving back to them in a positive manner for correction, because we're too old to be confronted. Yeah, I'm gonna get too old for it. I'm 54. I ain't going nowhere to be aggressive. I ain't going nowhere to fight nobody. I don't never want to have to pull a weapon to hurt nobody. Now, I ain't gonna let nobody hurt me and my family, but I don't want to hurt nobody's. So I mind my business. I stay to me. I do me. But I'm going to be honest. I'm going to tell the truth. If you don't want to hear the truth, then I'm not your guy. Because I want a circle of people who are going to be honest with me to a fault. I want people who are going to tell me the truth. If you can't tell me the truth, don't hang your ass around me. Because when I need to be corrected, when I know I'm not always right, like I expect for you as a friend to be able to say, Kel, no, bro, I feel you. Maybe I can understand where you going, because I'm going to try to always be as logical as possible. I'm going to try to always be as logical as possible, but that don't make me perfect. Even being logical doesn't make me perfect. So I want to cast the people around me to say, no, bro, no, Kevin, you're wrong. If you can't find it within yourself to correct me when I'm wrong, then we're not for each other. I don't know how to be a friend to you. It's funny because even right now at 54, attempting to keep my circle as small as possible, I still get people to lie. It's a couple of lies, about 3-4 of them floating around right now. But why? Like, what's the purpose? So here's what I would say about the backstabber and the person who's receiving that news of backstabbing. Here's what I would say. First off, like my grandmother used to always say, consider your source. Why does this person choose you to come back and share information with? Why they pick you? I ask people all the time, why it's always you. But why did that person pick you to share that messy information with? That backstabber who came back to you to tell you some juicy info. Why they pick you to tell? See, I always say the reason why they picked you to come back to, notice I said back to, they picked you to come back to because y'all already have shared some messy intel. Because they felt comfortable enough to come to you with the bullshit, has to at some point say something about your character. Now, I'm not talking about things that are constructive. Somebody saying if you are in a leadership position as a manager and they come say, hey, you know, Shauna, look at such and such because she been doing this, that. No, that's business related. I'm talking about the BS. I'm talking about the backstabbing, the talking down. Why? Why did they pick you? Why did they feel so comfortable delivering their negative message about that individual to you? Why? Several things. There could be a positive side to them choosing you. Believe it or not, because every bone that's packed is not a negative bone. Somebody might say, hey, man, look, I just think you need to know what you face and what you're dealing with. So I'm offering this info, bro. What you do with it is your business. Appreciate it. Some people packing that bone back because they have an ulterior motive. They're jealous. They don't like that person for something that person may have done 10, 15, 20 years ago. So again, beware of the dog that packs the bone. Sometime I listen, I'm gonna be real. Sometimes I don't. I laugh about it. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. And let's be real. Like, come on, if it's juicy, we all really kind of want to know. We all kind of really want to be informed. But why? Why do we take the time and the opportunity to destroy one another? At 50 plus years old. Some of the messiest people that I've ever encountered in my life have been in the church. So let's not hide behind God's word. But one thing I've learned as I've matured as a man is that the church is a hospital. And you say, well, how is that, Kevin? The church is a hospital. What's in the hospital? Sick people, people who need a healing, people who need help. See, one thing that we've got to break the bond of is not getting ourselves help when we clearly need the help. We got people still afraid to go get counseling. That don't make you crazy. It makes you crazy not to go get the help you need. So you telling me you walking around feeling dizzy for a month, you walk around feeling dizzy for a month, you go to the doctor finally, and the doctor say, your blood pressure is at stroke level and we're concerned. We're going to keep you here for a little minute, give you some medication intravenously. We're going to start an IV and we're going to get your blood pressure down. Just lay in this room and relax for a minute while we administer this medication into your system. Some of y'all already know where I'm going. So when you get that medication administered into your system to lower your blood pressure, 2 or 3 hours later, they come back. They was like, all right, let's check your blood pressure again. They let you go. They release you. That's just like going to church. Yeah, because the church is a hospital. It's sick people in there. People who understood that in order for me to try to be a better somebody, I need to get help some kind of way. Now we'll run to the church and listen to the pastor and be cussing in the parking lot. So did we really absorb that medication? It ain't helped us none. Man, I look, I take my hat off. I love this woman. Felicia Williams, that's on here. She just come in. Felicia, that's on here every week. Say, man, Felicia, my biological sister, Raquette, her husband, like, man, those are people that I can say, in just my eyes and just my opinion, that's going about life in the right way. Like, you can relax when you're around them, and if you pay attention, you'll learn something. And I ain't say they showing up to teach you a class on how to conduct yourself, but here's what Felicia taught me, and she don't even know she did. So when my brother passed away in March of last year, Felicia pulled up in front of my house. And I know I done told this story before, but y'all just bear with me. I got to share it again because we're talking about backstabbers. Felicia pulled up at my house and unloaded her entire vehicle into my home because we were doing everything here, the repass and all of that. And it was I'm like, well, Felicia, this can't be mine. This toilet tissue. She's like, yeah, that's for you. You don't want them using up all your toilet paper. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. But My point is, Felicia showed me how to present yourself friendly to people in a time of tragedy, in a time of need. Kevin Walker, that's how you do it. Let me show you how to do it. She didn't say it, she just did it. See, some of y'all, when something go wrong in other people's life, you want to start rounding up the troops. But everybody's commitment to helping ain't your commitment. So instead of rounding people up, do it yourself. And I thank Felicia for that, man, every chance I get, because in that moment, it really showed love. It really did. And I'm totally loving her for that, because she showed me what should be done when I encounter others who are in that moment. And that's what life is about. That's what life is about. Reciprocal actions. She showed me how to show love to someone else. That's right, Randy. Show yourself friendly. Let me read some of these comments. So Felicia said, yes, the church is for the sick. Keep coming, and one day you may be delivered. That's right. Marche says, they need love and a hug. With that messiness, they do. They do. Shauna says some people are not happy with themselves. They really not, Shauna. They really not. And they'll do anything possible. They'll do anything possible to wipe that smile off your face. Anything possible to wipe that smile off your face, which is absolutely crazy at the same time that you can allow somebody to get that deep into your head and control you. See, I remember for years coaching Little League, I used to tell the kids to drive your own car. Put your hand on your car up here. Put your hand on your car. Drive your own car. Don't let nobody manipulate you and get behind the steering wheel of your car. Because I control Kevin. I'm the only one going to do what Kevin want to do. You can't, I don't feel peer pressure. You can't peer pressure me into doing nothing I ain't ready to do. But the church is for sick people. So when you go to church, don't expect the people in there to be where you're trying to get already. That's why they there, to be healed. So I can tell you, do we like it from the back? No, we don't like it from the back. But some of us are so busy trying not to hurt other people's feelings, and that's me. I'm guilty of that too, because I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. But sometimes you got to play hardball. Do we like it from the back? No, we don't like being stabbed in the back. But you can't allow people to manipulate you into thinking that, well, that's just who Shauna is. Well, that's just who Randy is. Well, that's just who Felicia is. Well, that's just who Marche is. No, don't accept that. If you don't be honest with your friend, with your brother, the Bible speaks of it, you hate them. And if they don't accept your words, then they really not a friend. That's biblical. So let me move on. I ain't gonna be on this all night. Let me move on, move forward. Since I did take this to a biblical place in Matthew 8 and 15, let's talk about outside the pulpit. Let's talk about outside the pulpit. So Randy says you have to use the dark to bring it to the light, and the universe is watching. For real. Yeah. So look, so let's talk about outside the pulpit. So what's the expectations of your pastor from you? From the man of God? What's the expectation? And it's crazy. Let me read Kelly comment right quick. Kylie. What's done in the dark will come to the light. Yes. Oh, that was Callie who said that. You have to use your power of discernment in knowing what's good for you. Okay, that was Randy. I'm sorry, guys. Randy said you have to use your power of discernment in knowing what's good for you. That was Randy's comment. It flipped up as I was reading. And Kylie came back and said, what's done in the dark will come to the light, which is true. The universe is watching. That was Kylie's comment. So what is the expectation that we have for our pastor, for the man of God? Is it truly a realistic expectation? Because we hold our pastors sometimes to some unrealistic expectations. I remember, and I'm not going to call the pastor name, and he's not a preacher, he's a pastor. I remember going to breakfast with some pastors, with my father-in-law, and one of the preachers was so comfortable in that circle that he said, and this is a preacher with a pretty nice church. We were at the Breakfast Club, and this man said, at this table for breakfast, boy, look at here. There's some nice ass in here this morning, guys. Look around. Oh, my goodness. I felt so uncomfortable in the moment because I only knew this man as a pastor, as a preacher, as a man of God. And I guess I shouldn't have had a certain level of expectation, but I did. And I apologize for having a level of expectation for a man who is just a man who is just like me, looking through human eyes. Yeah, I saw all the fine women in the room too. But that's my point. What makes me any different from this man of God, other than he said God called him to deliver his word? Now, just because he's a man of God, I have to have a certain level of expectation for myself as well. But we place our pastors on such high pedestals, and we expect them to be able to stand on that pedestal and maintain a constant level of dignity and pride and charisma about themselves 24/7. When anything go wrong in the family, the first person we reach out to when little Johnny go to jail, when Mama had to be rushed to the hospital because she been eating them damn pork rinds, and Mama knows she shouldn't have been eating them damn pork rinds. Now her feet done swole up, and we got to call an ambulance to rush Mama greedy ass to the hospital when she shouldn't have been eating them damn pork rinds in the first place. Now we got to rush her greedy ass to the hospital, and we want Pastor to know that Mama done been rushed to the hospital. Pastor could be in the middle of eating dinner with his wife. Pastor could. So the first person we reach out to is pastor. But the same pastor that we have this high level of expectation for, the same man of God, the same preacher, we don't support financially. And you say, well, what they got to do with, I'll tell you. Because we expect for pastor to be Johnny on the spot whenever we need him. But when somebody called back to say, well, Pastor at work, Pastor got a job. Well, Pastor been on his job so many years. Pastor been here 30. He just don't want to walk away. He want to make sure he get his full pension. What's wrong with Pastor being able to financially support his family because y'all broke ass ain't putting no money in the collection plate on Sunday? So Pastor can't quit his job. Because pastor got a wife he got to support. Pastor got boys he got to take care of. But y'all don't want to pay no offering, but y'all want pastor to get up at 11 o'clock at night and come to the hospital because mama greedy ass wouldn't stop eating them crackling. Now feet done swole up. So what do we expect outside the pulpit from our pastors? You know, I'm gonna speak for me. I'm gonna speak on Pastor Prudhomme, who's a friend of mine, who might watch this. His name is Tremel Prudhomme. He got Northside Antioch. I'm gonna tell y'all where his church is. He got Northside Antioch. Really nice man. But he is the pastor. In the beginning, I didn't know he was a pastor. All I ever said about this brother was, man, because our sons played high school football together. Let me straighten that up. Our kids played high school football together. So we came together. We would talk all the time, sit on the gate and watch practice. Felicia, I see you come in. I'm going to go back and read. Let me finish this. We would sit on the fence, watch practice. I watch our boys practice. And all I knew was this man is awfully nice. Like, this is a really good brother, man. He a genuinely good dude. So when you're not in the pulpit, when you're outside the pulpit, and you ask me, what do I expect? I expect my pastor to conduct himself like Tremel Prudhomme conducts himself. I expect my pastor to conduct himself like Chris Jackson at Faith Walk conducts himself. One thing I knew, well, I'm not going to even get into that because I don't want to go public with personal information. But one thing that, as a man, because I'm a man's man, the one thing I can respect is when a man conducts himself in a manly manner and be a man at all times. One thing Pastor Prudhomme ain't never done, he ain't never told me to say, hey, Kev, look. That's how we nudge each other, say, boy, look at that one. Never. One thing Chris Jackson ain't never done, as many restaurants and other places we've been, Chris Jackson ain't never pointed me to a woman's ass. But y'all support all these bootleg ass preachers that's sleeping with 3 or 4 women in the congregation, are flirting with every woman that walk in the congregation, and y'all build them the biggest buildings. And you what, Kev, he's just a man. No, yeah, he's a man of God. You're right. So y'all know why I don't preach? Because I fall way short of the glory. And I'm not willing to put my life on display so that I can be picked to pieces by vultures, by you vultures, the people. I love the Lord, he heard my cry. Yeah, I do. Man, God done took me out of some dark places. But I'm not ready to put my life on public display to be picked to pieces. I'm not Tremel Prudhomme. I'm not Chris Jackson. I'm not the men they are. Say, man, I honor those brothers for being able to hold up that blood-stained banner and walk covered in the blood of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ on a daily basis, because I know walking in this world, they got to put on the full armor of God to be protected. My man AV, good dude. That's Anthony Valerie. Good dude. Let me go back and read some of these comments, and then I'm going to move on to my last subject of the night, which is honorable mention. Y'all gonna like this honorable mention. So Felicia, here you go. He's still a man. There you go with that. He's still a man. You're making excuses for him. He's still a man. and he will still make mistakes. Okay, I feel you. So please don't put him on a pedestal. God said, man will disappoint you. This is why you put your faith in him, Jesus Christ. That's right, not man. Many are called, only few are chosen. Amen, Felicia. I agree. I agree. Everybody's saying right because they agree with you too. Let's see what Randy came back with. Is there a difference with what people see or what God knows? I like that, Randy. I like that. It's what God knows. And that's what I'm talking about, how you conduct yourself. Like when the lights are off and you out of that pulpit, that's why this topic was outside the pulpit. When you're outside that pulpit, when nobody's around, you and that one sister just standing there with the nice breasts and the big butt, are you going to say something out of line and very worldly to her to get her attention? I don't want to call names. People get upset. So Felicia said, I expect him to demonstrate love and to always show love to all people. That's right. Marche said, you don't want a homie, you want a pastor. True that. Trishana said, Pastor Walter August is phenomenal. Okay. Randy Kelly says, you're not ready to step out of self. You are bringing a word now. We all have ministry if we believe in God. You're right. No, I agree. But I'm not going to step before people, Randy, and say, God called me to do this. God called me to be a pastor, or God called me to bring his word when I know, like, I got a lot of transgressions still about myself that need to be cleaned up. And I know I can't clean them up. So I'm going to just continue to pray. I'm going to continue to ask God to work on me and help me. So let's move into our last topic of the night, honorable mention. Y'all going to like this one. This one going to be. So Shauna, Randy, Marche, Kylie, Felicia, y'all going to like this one. I got a question. I'm in the line at Timmy Chan. Random place. Don't put no stock in Timmy Chan. I'm in the line at Timmy Chan. Young lady standing behind me, in front of me, wherever, catch my eye. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, how you doing? You know, we speak. We make fancy with each other. That's what the English call having conversation, making fancy. We're going to make fancy with one another. I am King Arthur, King of the Britons. No, okay, so let me stop. So we start conversating, exchange numbers, and because I don't want to include social media in my business and in my relationship, I date this woman for 6 months to a year. Random number. I date this woman for a year. After a year, I start bringing her up. We start posting pictures. People know now that she and I are an item. Somebody called me and say, or she called me one day randomly and say, hey, you know, Trishana, my cousin, huh? Didn't you and Trishana used to date? Yeah, and when we was in high school. Do I have to really and truly mention everybody I've ever dated to somebody I just met to see if we got some compatibility with past lovers? Or are we gonna be grown enough Are we going to be grown enough to move on and not discuss what happened in high school or what happened right after high school? In my 20s, I'm 54. So if it happened when I was 24, that was 30 years ago. Why are we talking about that? Why are we talking about who I dated 30 years ago? Why do I have to discuss that? Clearly, it didn't mean nothing. If she's not a part of my life, if she never was. So if you sleep with a woman one time, if y'all have sexual contact one time, am I on the hook for the rest of my life to discuss what happened at one time? Am I? Somebody told me, a female told me earlier, no. A female told me no earlier. She said, look, that was just a fling. You're not obligated to discuss what happened between you and a woman one time 30 years ago. You're not obligated to discuss what happened between you and a woman a month ago. But I'm confused why people want to say, and I've heard this so much normally from women. I've heard this so much. Well, I used to date him. So who gives a fuck? Who cares? Move on with your life, because clearly he don't remember what happened 20 years ago. I read a text from a dude to another chick that showed interest in me, and she was being told that the other dude had dated somebody I was dating, and she was like, oh, you never told me you dated. And he was like, I didn't. We just slept together a couple of times, but and he was like, she was like, you read this message? I'm like, hey, I know what you was told, because I was told the same thing. Everybody ain't your boyfriend. Like, let's be real, ladies. Let's be real. So do y'all seriously remember every dude in your life you've ever slept with? Do you really remember every dude you've ever, even if it was just one time? Do you really remember every situation? Because I know if by memory I'm not writing something down, I'm gonna gloss over somebody. I'm just being real. I'm gonna gloss over somebody. I'm gonna skip right over a few names. So Randy said, it's just like a guy discussing his high school football plays, or a chick talking about being a cheerleader in high school. I don't give a, yeah, you're right. Moshe says, yep. Randy says, I know my body count. Come on, Randy. You know your body count high as giraffe pussy. Shauna say, I may have forgot a few. Thank you, Shauna, for being honest. Oh, it go Felicia. Let me pray first. I feel for bad to even read this. Felicia says, that's not developing a healthy relationship. Leave the past behind. Okay, thank you, Felicia. I agree. Leave the past. No, Felicia, I'm with you on this one. I promise I am. I agree that the past should be left in the past so that we can push forward. So Shauna came back and said, some things deserve to be forgotten. I agree. Sometimes I have flashbacks like, oh, I forgot him. That was Kylie said that she had flashbacks like, oh shit, I did knock him off. No, I'm with you, because I've done the same thing, and people be like, you used to mess with him. I'm like, I ain't never met. Yeah, I did. Yeah, because when things become a part of our past, if it didn't better me as a person, like, we have a propensity sometimes to bury things in our mind in a place where we don't ever really want to reach back and go and get it, because everything has a place in time. And that moment that you shared with that individual ain't always worth recanting. Let's see what Yvette Francis said. I remember the important ones. I feel you, Yvette. So Kylie says, especially if, what's OT? Or are you saying if it wasn't, oh, she got, if it wasn't good. So why is it that women feel an obligation and they want to holler this girl code shit? Y'all want to holler this girl code, but you asleep with somebody's husband. Where's that girl code? I'm just asking. I told y'all this last few segments was going to be messy. So you can say it's a girl code not to mess with your wannabe so-called backstabbing homegirl who hang with you, who talk shit about you, but you keep her around, air quotes, pop, pop, pop. You keep her around knowing she talks shit about you behind your back. It's a reason why nobody like her. It's a reason why she can't get along with people. What's up, baby? So you would rather her not sleep with this dude, but you will go sleep with somebody else. I'm confused as hell. You get mad at your homegirl when you find out she slept with old boy you messed with in the 10th grade when they skipped Coach Ray's algebra class, and she fucked him in the parking lot because Sherman gave her his keys because he was the only one with a car. Him and Kirk Green and Craig Walker had one. It wasn't a bunch. Gary Price. So you went and got in the back seat and gave it up in the 10th grade one time. You gave this man something one time. And here we are in our 50s, and you don't want who is now your friend or somebody you associate with to get no parts of that. I'm confused. But you will go sleep with somebody's husband. Yeah, Callie. I said I'm going to stop calling you Callie. I'm going to pronounce it properly. That's Kylie. Kylie. Okay, so let's go back and read some of these comments. So my man Bebe, that's my kinfolk, y'all. That's my big kinfolk, Bebe. Bebe said, y'all out of line. There's some funny shit y'all got going tonight. Yvette Francis came back with, girl code is when that girl been around me with that dude and she does, and she knows the feelings. Well, okay. That makes sense. Straighten me up, Miss Francis, shit, because I don't be getting it. So Trishana came back and said, let's talk about why they let them dudes run trains on them. Yeah, so I remember, and I've told y'all, I think long time ago, some people just want to do, we're talking about why do females allow guys or allowed guys in the past to run trains on them? Because I believe, Trishana, because it's Trishana's question, I believe they want to be accepted and they'll do whatever it takes, whatever they think in their little minute mind. And these are normally young girls. Whatever they think it takes to be accepted in the moment. Have I been there? No, I ain't never been there. I ain't never ran no train on nobody. But I know of some situations. I know of some people who have been involved in some trains. Just a squirrel. Yeah, be wanting that nut, Kelly. Kylie, not Kelly. Why they even started? Who started the ghetto Kylie thing? Because that's ghetto as hell. Tell them your name is Kylie next time they say Kelly. So, yeah, Shauna, no, great situation because I think that is about acceptance. Because when you're in high school, normally a sexual situation of that magnitude takes place with the cool kids, so to speak, on campus, the football players, the basketball players, the track kids, the cool kids in the band. Like when you are part of something, people want to do whatever it means, whatever it takes to be accepted. I'll give y'all an example. From my little league days, it was a female parent showed up and said, what I got to do to be down? And it was a coach standing behind me, hitting me in the back with his knuckles. I said, what you mean, what you got to do to be down? Like, I heard y'all be having parties and I want to be invited. I want to get in the clique. What I got to do? So me being the man I am, I thought it only right. I thought it only fair that I tell her what she had to do to be down. No, I didn't. I was like, oh man, shit, we invite you to one. Yeah, I am pretty nasty, Randy. So you're right about that. But nah, it was just as simple as us inviting her. So let's read Randy. We know the character of our girls, and we know their whole level. So yeah, so you put an extra eye on the ones in the clique who a hoe. So Marche says the women letting niggas run trains on her was some weird shit to her even back then. So Marche says, ain't that much acceptance in the world? Oh yeah, no, you're right. She said, ain't that much acceptance in the world for her to allow you to run a train on her in order for, but Marche, let's be real. We know those are people with very low self-esteem who are allowing that situation to take place. Let's be real. So Bebe say, back then, it was quiet as kept. Okay, quiet as kept. Nothing like that today. Back then, you had a whole lot of closet freaks. Yeah, but now, everybody got a cell phone. Everybody filming everything. Ain't no private times and situations. Women sneaking, taking pictures of your dick and all kind of shit when you ain't looking. You coming out the shower, walking in a room, they taking picture of your dick before you don't. And these are women who you think you can trust. But they taking pictures of your junk so they can get their rocks off later on. I know so many grown ass women, and I'm cool with it, that in conversation talk about how they watch porn. They go Randy with that little girls without daddies. No, it's some of these with daddies, Randy, that are indulging in these type of behaviors. Like, look. So I tell women all the time, when we joking and BSing about stuff, like, it's got to be a bunch of women out here watching porn, because the porn industry really in 2020 during the pandemic, the industry grossed an all-time high financially. All-time high financially. The porn industry did. The porn industry is a billion-dollar corporation. So they have an awards show that they do every year in Vegas for the best sex scene, the best blowjob scene, the best every year. And it's like this huge event for a week. Vegas have rerouted other events trying to come to Vegas during the week that they're holding the porn festival. because they make so much money off of it. So many people are booked and in town that week. Hey man, sex has always sold. This ain't no new shit. This ain't no all of a sudden where this coming from. Sex has always sold. From your parents to our great ancestors, from Mimo that you don't even know back in the slave days, that was getting raped by massa, that was getting raped by other men on the plantation, because if they wanted to have sex, they just took it. Like, yeah, we can't get away with that now, of course. But back then, you know, that's how it was. Unfortunately, very unfortunate for our ladies. It was girls with the 4.0 grade average. So the smart girls was giving it up like that, huh, baby? Single black women. We're going to talk about y'all next Wednesday night, single black women, because I feel so sorry for the scrutiny that our single black sisters have to endure just to get ahead, just to get a push, just to get a start. It's totally unfair what our single black women have to go through just to be accepted, just to be the VP, just to be the president. And no other culture, no other race puts the burden on the female like the African American community. The single black female, and I'm not saying single as in unmarried, I'm saying single when you walk into that job, your husband can't hold your hand through that door. If you didn't watch your mama do it, your aunties do it, you have to walk in through those doors and learn to leave all the negativity, all the hood shit. Sometimes when you get a job young, and I've seen so many young ladies, and I'm about to get out of here, but I've seen so many young ladies walk into AT&T or so many major corporations, and they sit around other smart, educated black women that teach them how to maintain their dignity and how to be a class act because their mothers hadn't been available to them in their life. Remember that sister in the church? They called her the mother of the church. We're talking about black females. How those sisters would come to those younger sisters when they showed up at church with 3 or 4 kids and invite them to dinner and try to help them raise them kids however they could help, and would even whisper in her ear, without trying to embarrass her, if her dress was a little inappropriate for Sunday service. See, that was when attending church was a prideful event. Everybody respected pastor inside the pulpit. Everybody respected the church outside the pulpit. You didn't want to make a mockery of yourself at the church, because if grandma or mama caught your eye, you know what that means from the choir stand. You know you're gonna get that ass tapped. My mama was an usher, so she would walk down to wherever we were and just give us that eye and grit her teeth like, if you say another mother, come on now. Come on now. So next week, next Wednesday, Hit me up. Get in my inbox. If you want to be a part of the show, next Wednesday, we're going to talk about the plight of the black woman. I got a couple of people I'm already kind of thinking about, but we're going to talk about the plight of the black woman, because I think you sisters deserve to be hugged and loved on. I really do. Because, man, y'all go through it in a phenomenal way. Y'all go through it. And I said this last week at the live show on my topic, will ladies continue to swallow? And everybody, oh my God, she gonna swallow. I was talking about swallow the bullshit that men bring to the table. Will they or won't they? Let's talk about it next week. Get in my inbox, hit me up, just say, hey, Kev, let me be a part of the show. I'm willing to come in. I'm willing to talk. Let's have some fun. Let's keep the conversation going. Let's keep the conversation healthy. Let's keep the conversation fun and funnier and the funniest at all times. Hey, let's enjoy life. Let's live and let live. Let's keep God first. Thank y'all for watching What He Said with Kevin Walker. I am Kevin Walker. Peace.